What's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And yes, it is true. It is true. We have another guest this morning. Yes, it's true. And her name is Annette. And I am really excited to talk to her. She's coming in from Vacayville, California. And she's got a story to tell. Annette, welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, as you can see, I'm doing better now. You saw a bit of the behind the scenes technology hurdles that I was dealing with, but here I am on the other side of it, doing okay, surviving.
Great.
Distracted by the new camera that I have here a little bit, though. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's my only problem. But that's me processing this in real time with you. How about yourself? It's early over there. Are you okay with this? Are you normally an early riser? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm usually up around 4 to 4:30, so this is perfect timing for me.
4 to 4:30. Wow. Now, is that because of an occupation that you have? Tell us a little bit about what you did or do and what attracted you to this crazy world of internet marketers out here.
So I've been a stay-at-home mom for 19 years. Our daughter's in her second year of college, and after we moved her out, I knew I needed to do something with the state of the economy. I was just tired of us living paycheck to paycheck and wanted to start contributing, to our budget. So took me a little bit to kind of get into my new routine after she left, because that was, a big change.
Right.
And I don't even know why I decided to download the TikTok app. I guess I just wanted something new, and was scrolling through there for a couple weeks and kept seeing these moms come up and talking about affiliate marketing. And I had no idea what I was going to do. I mean, I've been a stay-at-home mom for 19 years. So, ask me how to do anything from, change a baby's diaper to teach a teenager how to drive. I can do all of that, but when it came to the, this and, technology, and I didn't know anything. So, so decided to take the challenge, and within the challenge knew that it was something that I could do. And here I am.
Wow, that's cool. So how did you know that it was could you see it? Could you visualize it as I
Yes.
was explaining it in the challenge? Was it making sense to where you could begin to visualize yourself doing it and starting to understand kind of how all the pieces work together?
Yes, absolutely. It was very easy to understand. And I'm going to be honest, it was scary. It was something new for me. Anything new is scary.
Right.
But it was something I was willing to try. I needed to do something, so that was my first choice. So
nice. So what has it been like? You said that it was obviously scary, and I think the reason why most people quote fail is because they start getting into it, and it is scary and it is uncomfortable, and there are limiting beliefs that pop up, and maybe we don't even realize that they're limiting beliefs, and we feel like we're alone and we're the only ones that are feeling like that. So one of the reasons why I like to talk about it on this show is because those are the moments when you're kind of by yourself, and what is the story that you make up in your head about the situation. And obviously, there's a story that I could make up or that you could make up that would sound like, oh, this is way out of my comfort zone, and I need to just stay in my lane kind of over here. This is not, whatever it is. I mean, I look stupid on camera. I have nothing to say. Whatever the story is that you're telling yourself, was there an initial story that did pop up in your head? And did you notice yourself transitioning to like giving yourself a pep talk, or was there something that changed that kind of helped you to be more positive or get a different perspective that you could do it versus that you couldn't?
Honestly, I went into this knowing it was gonna be hard, because this, like I said, this was completely brand new for me, and I just decided I was gonna take it day by day. You know, things were gonna pop up that I wasn't gonna know, that I was gonna have to learn how to do, and I just took it day by day. And watching these, wake up legendaries, was a huge help. I watched so many of these before I even decided to start the
Mm,
challenge. So
wow.
so that was a big help. But just taking it day by day, and some days are easier than others.
Yeah. That's a
That's
great,
and not giving up. I mean, just you gotta keep going. Just don't give up. You
yeah.
know.
Ultimately, don't give up, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
that's the kind of like, don't die.
Yeah.
That's like telling a human being, "Don't die." It's saying don't give up to an entrepreneur is kinda like, don't let your business die, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the there are many graveyards that are full of business ideas and dreams and even LLCs and things that got, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? People even prepared things and got things set up. And how many of you listening can relate to getting something, I don't know, even going to the store and buying an outfit and then not going to the dance or something of that nature where you got ready for something, but then you
Mhm.
didn't follow through because you talked yourself out of it, or just in
Mhm.
that moment you couldn't find the courage or whatever, and then maybe later you regretted it. So this is, you're
Yeah.
playing this a day at a time and you're making sure that ultimately you just don't give up. And has that proven to, at the very least, be a good foundational mindset for you? Just, we're not
Yeah.
giving up and we're going to take this a day at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I got through the challenge, and the next step was to start posting videos, and that was scary enough. um and I started, and it wasn't as difficult as I thought. Um it's actually pretty easy, to be
Mm,
honest. Um, the only thing that I was super nervous about, and it took me a long time to do, was to do talking videos. I didn't want to have. I didn't want. I was going to stumble over my words. I didn't want to hear myself on camera,
yeah.
and I knew that was something that I needed. I needed to do. I
Yeah.
needed to figure out how to do it, and so I did. And those videos seemed to be doing better than my other videos. And I had one video where I just laid it all out, told my whole story. And that one is my biggest video. I've had the best. It's a viral video, um, and I almost didn't post it. I sat on that video for a long time,
Did
and
you?
I didn't want to post it because I didn't like how I sounded.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
You didn't.
and I finally just one day clicked that button, and I have had so many people, genuine people, that can relate to what I have been through,
Right.
reach out to me and contact me, and it's just been amazing. So
That's great. That's amazing. Sorry, I'm just fixing my camera
it's
as you're
okay.
talking because I'm testing this out. Like the truth is that I have like a this new camera here, and it's kind of a fancier camera,
Hmm.
but it's super distracting. And it's like, the question is do I want to continue using this or just go back to the regular webcam? Um, which is what I always do. I always go back to the simplest technology because it's always the easiest.
Hmm.
But, the team is trying to encourage me to upgrade my look here a little bit, but, I'm just trying to keep it real street, just real kind of gangster. No, I like to keep it basic just because I am basic. And
Yeah.
if I get too much technology, similar to how you were speaking about just your own kind of taking it a day at a time, I
Mhm.
think that for me, what I realized was the thing that is going to help me to do whatever I have to do the most consistently. So, for example, if the thing that Jamie says, keeping it real screet. Okay, I've got a couple of people out here feeling me. Hey, so, so, whatever is going to help me, like you just said, I watch this show every day. So if I wouldn't have been doing the show every day, maybe you wouldn't have become as much of a customer as you have become. I mean, you went on to take the challenge, but also to
Mhm.
buy the blueprints and really become an active member of our community here. And if I wasn't doing this every single day, then there's a good possibility that you may not have gone that far as a
Mhm.
customer. And so, your mindset is my mindset's very similar. Obviously, my mindset at this point is more focused on I'm not afraid of doing the stuff. I'm not afraid of doing the actions. I just have to, for me, my biggest challenge is how do I set up a process or a system that's simple enough that I can commit to it on a regular basis and be
Mhm.
consistent with it. And for me, you know, I'm talking about this camera situation just real briefly because the thing that's helped me to go live every day as consistent as I have here on the show is just simple technology. Not
Mhm.
having a big complicated setup or not being too distracted with the camera. Like I may get used to this new camera up here, but I may not. And if it makes me feel so uncomfortable that I'm no longer having fun doing it because I'm so distracted, well, I have two options. Number one is this is too hard and maybe I shouldn't do this and maybe I should stop going live. Or just go back to the basic webcam setup
Yeah.
because that's easier and simpler and that helps me to be consistent. So I think it's like, you know, there's a couple of like it's like almost the same point just at for different people. For you right now, um mindset wise, it's a day at a time. I'm not there right now mindset wise. I'm not taking it a day at a time because I've been doing it for longer.
Right. Right.
Now, as far as your technology, I gave the example of the technology, keeping things simple. What is a part of your daily routine or something that you're doing with your marketing where you've kind of found your groove there and you're like, oh, okay, this works for me versus maybe another style that didn't work for you? Do you have any examples like that? For me, it's the technology. If I start to complicate things, that gets in my way and it stops me from creating. But if I keep my technology simple, then I usually can, and I'm not so worried about my looks and how I look on camera for me personally. That helps me to pump out content a lot more consistently, and honestly, it's a lot better because I care less, about how it looks and all this.
Right.
So what
Right.
is what you mentioned the mindset thing about taking it a day at a time. What else has helped you just in the mechanics part of your business to be able to take action and not get, stuck, I guess, for lack of better terms?
Well, I mean, um, this really is simple. I mean, it's not difficult to do. I mean, I've got my phone on me pretty much every waking minute. I try to keep it simple. I mean, it's not, doing these videos. It's you don't have to. I mean, most of the time I'm putting dishes away or folding laundry or just going about my daily business. It's not. I'm
Right.
not getting all super dressed up and fancy and
Yeah.
I'm in a hoodie and my hair is pulled back or it's people can relate to that. And I mean, that's how I was anyways. I
Yeah, for
could
sure.
watching your lives and being able to relate with some of the people that you were talking to is what helped me decide that this is something that I could do. And you're
Yeah.
right, if you didn't have these lives I probably would not have pursued this.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
um it was being able to relate to these people and know that there are other people out there that, have similar situations, that I do, and
Yeah.
they're doing this and becoming successful. Um,
So
you
how does that
know,
relate when you're going to market? Are you really kind of keeping that in? I guess you just said that like you're going messy bun, you're going sweatpants, you're going regular. You're not getting dudded up for the camera. You're taking that same what attracted you and what helped you
right,
to feel like you could do online marketing and you could get into this. You're also, because I think a lot of people have a tendency to be attracted to it because people seem real, but then feel like they now need to get dolled up, you know?
right, right, and that's just not me. I mean,
And when
it's
I say dolled up, I mean, hey, for a guy, it might be like put on a collared shirt when normally you just wear t-shirts or part your hair in a certain way. I literally can remember that when I first got started, I had a specific hairstyle, but this one guy that I thought I needed to be like had like a part in his hair and
Mhm,
combed his hair over. And I actually combed my hair, like a gentleman's cut with the part. I didn't
mhm,
used to comb my because I thought that's what I needed to. I mean, that was the extreme that I personally took it when I
right,
first got started because again, I thought that, you know, who I was just not going to be accepted, would be rejected, would be not enough. My message
mhm,
wouldn't, so you mentioned it was a big transition from going to not talking on videos to talking on videos.
yeah,
Was there some of the same that I'm talking about with that? I don't like my voice or being
yes,
judgmental of your own content. Can you say a little bit more about that?
yeah. I mean, I struggled with, um, talking on camera and hearing myself and, seeing myself talk. I struggled with that, and I just got to the point where, you know, I just recorded the video and just posted it and just stopped thinking about it, stopped looking at every little teeny tiny detail. And
Yeah.
even, when my husband, he first thing he does when he gets off work is he's looking through his phone and, trying to find my videos. And when he finds them, I'm like, turn the volume down. I don't want to hear myself. Just
That's the
watch
first
it.
thing your husband does when he gets off work is,
Yes. Yes. He's,
"Aw,
yeah.
that's nice."
Yeah. He'll come home and be like, babe, did you see how much that video grew and how many comments? And I'm like, yeah, I've kind of been on it all day, but thanks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's super supportive. So,
Yeah.
it's very, very helpful. But
Wow.
yeah, I struggled with, I don't know why. I mean, I don't have a problem, holding a conversation. It's just hearing myself talk.
Yeah, it's
It's
weird, isn't it?
yeah, I
It's
struggled with
weird.
that. So I just, those videos seem to do better than any other one. So anytime I can, answer a comment,
Mm.
or just tell a little bit more of my story, I
Yeah.
just do it
So,
and post it.
how are you coming up with those? Because it is kinda scary. I can understand that. I see that. People are like, "Okay, I get it at the pointing or whatever." If I'm doing videos on TikTok, like, I can plan it out or type it out. And then when it comes time to make a video where you're talking, it's kind of like the idea barrel goes dry. It's like, gosh, how would I do
Yeah,
that? So what
yeah.
what what are some of the ways that you do come up with content that you just mentioned answering questions? W- Can you say more about that? How are
If
you coming up with the content ideas or the types of videos where you are talking in them?
for me, I write everything out first. Like I like outline everything that
You're
I'm
a
going to say.
scripter?
Yes, and I
Okay.
just do it, a couple sentences at a time, record, stop, back and forth, and just do it that way. And answering questions, the ones that I get that are, genuinely, talking about like I can completely
Legitimate?
relate to your, yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't mean it like that. Like the ones where people are telling me that they can relate to my story for whatever reason, as opposed to more info, because I get, hundreds of
More
those,
info comments are hilarious, aren't they? More
yeah.
info. Info,
So,
but then the people who want success get even lazier and they just type info because more info is too many letters,
yeah,
It's like, yeah, that's
yeah.
that's
Or
funny. That's
how,
funny. How?
yeah.
I know the way in which some of us chase our goals and dreams is fascinating, but
Yeah,
how? You know,
yeah.
DM, DM.
Put a little bit more effort into that.
So, so you're and now are these questions that are usually coming through like a DM in a comment on a video, or are you actually throwing up the "Hey, ask me a question," and then coming back and sort of choosing the ones that you want to make? Because that is one of the best ways that I've found to create content, or that I've enjoyed people creating content, is where they kind of ask their audience, "Hey, what are your questions? Type them
Mhm.
in here." And then like
Yeah.
on Instagram, I think on TikTok, but definitely on Instagram, it shows all the answers of everybody that, and then you can choose the ones that you want to respond to
Mhm.
and kind of paste them up there. And so it shows social proof. It shows that people are
Yeah.
like asking you questions, and that helps. It gives you
Yeah.
content ideas. In a way, when you're answering them like that, it makes you the authority, so
Mhm.
you are really now, and positioning is important, people. Positioning
Right.
is important. It's like what you are ultimately trying to do, whether you're an affiliate or you are an info marketer, meaning, you are creating your own courses, coaching, or doing your own event.
Mhm.
Even if you're an affiliate, there has to be a certain level of trust there.
Right.
You know, trust the way the trust usually comes through on the internet through, I want what this person has, or they have some sort of authority. They
Right.
know more than me on this topic. And so when you're answering questions, when people are asking you questions, you instantly become, you gain positioning. You
Right.
become more of an authority in their eyes, and so it helps. And that is the way that persuasion or influence, we call these people influencers, us or whoever
Mhm.
has an audience that's listening to them. Um, be the best way to persuade is not to say, "I'm an expert and I know more than you," not to come out and
Right.
say the obvious,
Right.
but it's to indirectly create a dynamic where people are asking you, where they're learning from you. And so
Right.
that's why I like answering questions, which originally you brought up. So are you getting these through the DMs? Are you getting them through videos? Are they just questions that people are asking on lives? Where are you getting these questions?
Both, on my videos on TikTok, and then I'm getting a lot of DMs, through Instagram from people that follow me on TikTok.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, that's exciting, and I feel like when when I get DMs on Instagram, they open up a little bit more, you know, um, and get more personal, I guess you could say.
yeah.
So that's helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're say that one more time. Sorry, I was reading something and got distracted. A little ADD
So
squirrel thing. Say
yeah,
say what's been helpful to you one more time.
getting DMs on Instagram from followers on TikTok,
Yeah.
they tend to open up a little bit more in their questions,
Mm.
and give me more detail, which helps me, you
Mhm.
know, help them.
Well, because ultimately they're coming from TikTok to your Instagram and then
Mhm.
DMing you there. So
Yeah,
there's quite a bit an effort that they have to put in
right.
order, so they're a bit more, what we would call that is a bit more qualified prospect.
Yeah,
They're not somebody who's just typed "how" or "info"
yeah.
in the comments.
Mhm.
They've actually, and is that your call to action on your TikTok, is to head over to Instagram and DM you, or are you sending
Sometimes
people into a bridge page funnel?
Yeah, sometimes I will have them DM me on Instagram, just because TikTok is, you have to
Yeah,
follow each other to do that. But I mean, ultimately, I want them to go to my link. But if they have questions, I always make sure that I'm here to help. I'm here to answer your questions. So
yeah,
there are several ways to reach out to me,
yeah,
um, mainly through Instagram. So
yeah.
um, yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. Now, are you also utilizing Instagram in a content strategy as well, or is that or Facebook groups? What else? Because you're using TikTok to create content and sort of
Mhm.
take advantage of their kind of viral platform, but you've got people going into your bridge page funnel, you're collecting emails and
Mhm.
recommending products that way. You're also people are going over to your Instagram. So what other kind of streams of traffic do you have going? And also, are you doing a Facebook group or anything? Are you doing anything on top of just driving traffic?
So I'm using it all started with TikTok. I tried to master that as much as I possibly could. And then I went on to Instagram, and then on to Facebook. I'm just doing Facebook Reels. I don't have a group
Yeah.
yet. That's kind of my next step.
Mhm.
And then just a couple days ago, I started on Pinterest too. So just
Nice.
trying to, each platform's different. Each platform attracts different people.
Yeah.
So, um, you know, I think the more you get your information out there, the better results you're gonna have. So,
Yeah. Um, are you are you simply repurposing content that
mhm,
you're originally making on TikTok on all these
yeah,
other platforms? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's I really like the editing features in TikTok for their
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
I've tried on Instagram, and it's just um, I just like TikTok better.
Different,
Yeah,
more difficult.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Interesting. Interesting. So as you've started to create and attract an audience, you're somebody who, I mean, you even own it in your handle, stay at home marketing mom. I mean, as I would have. This is an assumption that you haven't been in a bunch of positions over the years where you've been kind of potentially heckled or been vulnerable to people's, oftentimes cowardly comments.
mhm.
Now you could have been PTA mom and in this and that and been at the forefront of your kids. I don't know, but I'm assuming that you haven't had as much attention as you're now getting. So
No.
how have you handled some of the negative attention, some of the negative comments, some of the discouraging things that people say out there who they can be so mean? And I
Yeah.
think that, if people are feeling maybe a lack of support from friends and family, and then they come online and they're feeling they get negative, it can be overwhelming. Thankfully,
Oh,
you have
yeah.
a supportive husband.
Yeah.
And there's that can improve, folks. So don't think that just because it's one way, it's always going to be that way. If you start earning money, trust me, your spouses will come around. But that
Right.
may not change with the online hecklers. So how do you deal with them?
That at first was difficult. And the best advice I can give is just scroll past it. I mean, just don't read into it. It's not a personal attack on you.
Yeah.
I mean, people that leave comments, that are rude and, discouraging, that's their problem. That's not your problem. And I try my best to just scroll past it. I've even gone through and deleted a couple of them just because, I don't want to see it.
Right.
But I mean, I mean, ultimately, they're engaging with your video. So ultimately, they are helping your video. It doesn't look good, but yeah, I just try to have thick skin and just that's okay. Scroll past it.
I can tell, Annette, that you've picked up on some of the you've got a lot of this stuff. Now I noticed that went through and it seemed like you thoroughly went through our challenge. You bought our blueprints.
Hmm.
I would assume that you've dove into there and really,
Oh
but you
yeah.
seem like you know a lot. Would you would you y- you know just in even some of the marketing jargon and some of the marketing language and some of the ins and outs, some of the things that people who either have been doing this for a long time know, or people who really go through the education and kind of try to take it in and do a thorough job the first time. What what do you credit your I mean, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who has been doing this for many years,
Oh no.
and you've only been doing it for several months. So would you
Yeah.
credit it to the way in which you went through the education and then began to implement? What do you think has helped you to get it instead of what I experience with a lot of clients, which is they've bought some of the training, but maybe they haven't dug into it or whatever. They're
Hmm.
wanting to get started. They're splitting their time between learning and trying to earn. And it's just like they haven't got it yet, although they own some of the training. What do you
Right.
think that you've done from the beginning of the time of you kind of starting here that's helped you to get it? I mean, maybe you're just a super brilliant genius woman and you get
No.
everything. I that
No.
could be. You seem really smart, but is there anything else that you would credit this sort of knowledge that you have that's helping to guide your decisions, quite frankly?
Use your resources. I mean, they're out there. Those that just, buy the training and open it up and immediately get overwhelmed and quit. I mean, it's something new that you're learning. It's something that you don't know. Of course, it's going to be overwhelming. You don't know it. Things, um, I guess learning for me is a little bit more difficult. It's sometimes I have to watch things a couple times or read things a couple times to actually fully understand it. But utilizing, the Facebook group, utilizing, your lives, reaching out and emailing people when you have questions. If you have a question, ask, get an answer. Don't just quit and give up, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
So have you
just
showed up to coaching calls, went to Decade in a Day, went through the
uh-huh.
affiliate marketing blueprint? Like you've
Hmm.
went through these because that's what
Hmm.
I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's gone through all, the training that you've bought and you
Yeah.
have the knowledge that
Yeah.
and therefore it's making
I
it
mean, it's
easier
there.
for you to kind of understand the blueprint of how the home is built, not just how to swing the hammer, which I
Yeah.
think is what, so many times people think that this business is. It's just about starting a TikTok channel and creating content, right? And
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
similar to me walking onto a construction site and saying, "Give me a hammer, boys. I'm here to run
Right.
this job," and then I
Right.
just start, banging on shit, and people are like, "Okay, we've got a blueprint here that we're following,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and that blueprint, which ironically is what we named our flagship training, is where it's like, yes, the it's going to be a little bit more of a commitment to just it's like reading a book, which to me is a commitment. I mean, honestly, I'm not a big like reader, like sitting there reading
Right.
words off of a page.
Right.
My brain melts. But
Yep.
damn it, if the only if I bought a book and it's I can read, I just don't
Yeah.
like to. It's not so I think also maybe being a stay-at-home mom slash teacher, you understand that, curriculum, material,
Hmm.
information has been passed on from generation to generation and even century to century by usually it being written down in books is the majority of time. So that's actually how knowledge has been passed on for hundreds or even thousands of years is something has been written down. I think the society that we live in, especially nowadays to where it's 15-second videos and I want to get
Yeah.
everything in 15 seconds or whatever, we
Yeah.
come in to actually learn a craft. Y'all want to learn a craft. You want to, I mean, I know this seems like just a side hustle or but this is not driving for Uber. Like this is different.
Right.
Anybody can drive for Uber. Yeah, you don't need to do a whole lot of training to go drive for Uber. But if you want to
Hmm.
learn a craft that has the potential to make you millions of dollars, or hundreds of thousands of dollars or thousands of dollars. I don't even want to be too hypey here, but to
Yeah.
give you a legitimate unlimited potential on your income is really at the end of the day, you can
Yeah.
use these skills even to become a business owner and have leverage through systems and people working with you and for you. It's going to
Yeah.
take a little bit of investment of your time and money, and that's just if that is too much for anyone right now, maybe this isn't the right side hustle for you,
Right.
right? Because
Right.
ultimately, this really, honestly, is more than a side hustle. I mean, it can be a side hustle if the way that you want to treat it is like a side hustle. It's going to pay you like a crappy little side hustle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like, well, I'm going to just go and run a couple of Ubers today. All right, you're going to go make $100.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's not life-changing income. That's gonna put some gas in your tank and put some Taco Bell in your belly, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna do more than that,
Right.
whereas if I want big change, then there's gonna be more of a commitment, and so I just thought I'd touch on that because that was what was coming up for me talking to you. I'm thinking, "She's gone through the training." Like, not like a superstar, not
Yeah.
like a, "Oh my god, I did it better than everybody," but just
Yeah.
at least there is an element of immersing yourself in this world. If you want to learn online marketing and you want to know what we know, then I promise you 90 days, go through the challenge. If you're serious, get the blueprints, go through them, attend
Hmm.
Decade in a Day, show up to coaching calls and watch Wake Up Legendary every day. And you will be, after that full immersion, it's almost like walking out of a pool. You're like Aquaman. You're
Right.
market man, market woman. I mean,
Right.
it's weird. It doesn't, it's almost what's interesting is that you really don't even have to do anything. You just have to sit and listen and take the information in long enough to let it actually sink in,
Right.
and it's
Right.
all part of the process. The training really is the mechanics, and these wake up shows are really the dynamics because we
Yeah.
talk about the mindset and the nuances and the problems that you're going to face, and you get to hear real stories from people, which really do. That's the best way to get inspired is to hear a story. It's not watch a training.
Right.
So
Right.
that's why these
It's
two pieces work really well together. And, the folks who I think kind of, even if you don't do it on purpose, but surrender to the process and say, okay, I'm going to do it as they have it laid out. I'm going to actually
yeah.
just take advantage of what they have here. I think folks in Legendary, and you can speak to this. I didn't tee this question up to you, and you didn't know it was coming, but I actually think people are surprised by how much they grow and change and know,
Yeah.
and how much new potential they have after a full 90-day immersion. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you've had at least close to that. Are you somewhat surprised at how much life has changed, how much you know now, how more empowered you are with these new skills?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I never ever saw myself doing this. You know, 5 years ago, never dreamed that this is what I would be doing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, um, it's been interesting. Getting that first, big ticket commission. That's a funny story. My first one, anyways. My husband and I were in our backyard doing some work, and I had my phone, um, but I didn't have my glasses, and because I don't need them unless I'm reading. And we were in the backyard doing some work, and our daughter calls and FaceTimes, and he answers that call, and at the same time, I get an email notification that I could hear. So I open up my email notification, and I could see the blinking favicon from Legendary. That's all I could see. Like I can't like read the email, but I knew what it was. And so I clicked on it, and I take the phone and I point it to my husband and I go, "What can you read what that says?" And it was my first big ticket commission. And the whole neighborhood heard the excitement. He was jumping up and down. Our daughter was on the phone. It was pretty interesting. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, just keep going. Don't give up. Keep pushing through. Ask questions. If you stumble across something, reach out to people that are doing this. Reach out to Legendary. You have many, many, many resources at your fingertips.
Yep.
That
Oh
you can
gosh.
utilize.
It's amazing the resources that are out there and available even right here within this community that are
Hmm.
untapped.
Yeah.
I mean, we just the brilliance, the magic is in the moments. The little moments of
Hmm.
showing up to a Thursday blueprint coaching call and listening to somebody else ask the same question that you've had in your
Yeah.
head for the last 3 weeks and see them get an answer and see the world open up to you just
Yeah.
from one simple thing making sense. But half the battle is showing up. Half the battle
Right.
is literally showing up. That's the problem with all of life. Half the
Yeah.
battle is showing up. Half the battle is actually getting up out of the chair and going to wherever you need to go, doing whatever
Right.
you need to go, holding up the phone. I mean, and it's always like that. It's never, that's why I feel like life is so much easier for me now, is because I've realized that hard never stops. It's just a
Mm-mm.
new thing that I have to, okay, you
Yep.
hear me having to do this for the first time. And now I actively seek things where I'm new because I enjoy the growth process versus only wanting to stay stuck where
Yeah.
I'm a seasoned vet, because
Yeah. Yeah.
why do you think many of us stay in the same jobs that we started 30 years ago? Because it would be too overwhelming. It would be, especially to some of us guys, too damaging to my ego to go somewhere and have to go from being the top dog on the totem pole to being somebody new again, right? So,
Mhm.
but then
Yeah.
I'm unhappy that I haven't made a change. I'm unhappy so there's this. I think life gets easier when it did for me when I realized that, look, I actually enjoy the growth process. I enjoy being new. It's not, it's actually, and then it's easier. It's less pressure on me, even in these places that I might be the head honcho, because I just say, look, I don't know everything, guys. And immediately half the pressure just immediately just gets relieved. And then I just can show up more right sized. And I
Yeah.
think that whenever we start something new, we either have a tendency to feel better than, but mostly less than, you
Right.
know?
Right.
And it's
Right.
hard to just go in saying, I'm a normal human being. I need to embrace my humanity. I'm new at this. I'm not stupid. I'm not
Mhm.
inexperienced at life. I didn't lose any of all the experience and wisdom and knowledge that I have, but I'm doing something. I'm not
Yeah.
new. The world's not new. I'm doing something that's
Yeah.
new. And I just need to be new for a little while and just realize that I don't
Mhm.
know shit. And I need to go through the process of learning how to crawl and then walk.
Yeah.
But guess what? If you embrace the process and don't fight it and just learn how to be new,
Mhm.
embrace your humanity more, be okay failing, be okay making mistakes, know that that's going to happen, and
Yeah.
lower your expectations a little bit, then it's like, okay, now I can be more right sized. I don't have to
Exactly.
be this, I don't have to trash myself or think that I'm going to somehow be better than everybody. I can just get my piece of the pie.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which you're
I
doing, and it looks
agree.
wonderful on you. Looks wonderful on you.
Thank you. Thank
It
you.
does.
My husband and I each owned a business, a number of years ago. So, that part of it, I already knew. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you treat this like a business, you're it's going to treat you like a business. I mean, you have to put in the time and you have to put in the effort, and if you do that, then, you know, you'll be successful. I mean,
Yeah. And
there's
ironically, much of the effort at the beginning is just sitting still long enough to hear the shit that you need to hear
yeah.
for what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly,
It
exactly,
is. And not getting
exactly.
distracted over to guru number 15
Yeah.
in 5,000 and then this new webinar. We go back onto social
Mhm.
media after we've opted in or maybe started the challenge or whatever. And guess what? We see another video. We see another thing.
Yeah.
And we are in a world now to where information it's really no longer the problem. It's about the problem is getting focused information.
Yeah.
And the problem is not lack of information. The problem is your ability to be able to focus on the specific information that you need. Because the
Right.
biggest thing right now that's tearing people apart is information overload.
Exactly.
Too many options,
Exactly.
too many
Yes. Too
choices.
many options. Exactly.
Mhm. And,
Exactly.
and I'm telling you, the people hear it at 10:48 for those of you who stayed on for 48 minutes and didn't get distracted as you were scrolling on Facebook or whatever else. The people who are going to succeed in the next 5 years in this game and probably in most of, I would say, at least our digital economy, are people who can focus
Yeah.
and who can actually protect themselves from all of the different distractions and opportunities
Mhm.
and multiple this and multiple that.
Yeah.
Because the age old principle, and you've heard it in, from billionaires to just regular average Joes who made it like me.
Mhm.
Focus, man.
Yeah.
Focus. They asked, Bill Gates' dad asked him and Warren Buffett, what's the number one thing you'd attribute your success? Both of them popped up. Focus.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
It's because,
absolutely
you want to
right.
know why? Because you could be headed in the right direction. And it's just like that meme where the guy's walking with his girlfriend and then he's breaking his neck looking back at the other one. It's a meme that's gone completely
Mhm.
viral over the last couple of
Mhm.
years. But that's the problem. It's the same thing in I would venture to say it's potentially even uh, uh, the biggest challenge in romantic relationships is all of this content that's
Yeah.
available to people on the internet, these opportunities, whether it's specific, whether it's porn or whether it's other
Right.
things, people get themselves in trouble because there's
Yeah.
too much at your fingertips.
Yep. It's too
And it's
easily
this
accessible.
you gotta be focused. You gotta know who you are, know what you want, know where you're going, and know what your weaknesses are. And
Yeah.
my weakness personally, Dave Sharpe, is that I am ADD as a son of a bitch, and I can get absolutely distracted from squirrel number A and B and C at the same time and forget that I've got,
Right.
what I'm doing right in front of me. And I have had to build my life, literally construct my life in a way that helps me to focus on what's important, get my priorities in order. And I think
Yeah.
one of the blessings of working from home is that you don't have all the distractions of the office and what
Yeah.
everybody's doing there and what this guy is saying and the look she's giving you. You actually have the opportunity to completely and totally focus if you can keep from getting distracted on the damn things that are right in front of you, But if you
Yeah.
can, you really, I believe that that's, if not the number one skill that's needed to be successful with this now and in the future, it's top three. The
Yeah.
ability to be able to start something and follow through with it and focus on it until you've achieved your goal or got it to a place to where you know it and can succeed at doing it kind of second nature.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, okay, I got this now
Yeah.
and I'm going to start another hobby or I'm going to do something new to where I can be new again. And that has really honestly been my journey over the last 10 years. It's been learning and then going and starting new hobbies. Now, the problem was that Annette, I worked this business too long without some extracurricular stuff and some hobbies and stuff. the way I live right now is not the way I lived in the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
So I will say that I did work my tail off and dedicate and overwork and was a workaholic and all this other stuff when I first started doing this online marketing stuff, because honestly, it's what it took me to get it. And it's what
Right.
I had to do to stay engaged. And at
Yeah.
times it was difficult. But the number one thing that I would say that I've always somehow managed to do, which has kept me going forward and not get distracted and quit or has been focus on one business and
Yeah.
turn that business into a cash cow business. And then you'll realize you don't need all the multiple streams of income, all the multiple this, all the multiple that. You
Yeah.
just have a really awesome business. And then what you do is focus on building a moat around that business, create multiple streams of traffic in that business. So you no
Right.
longer need multiple businesses. You have
Right.
multiple streams of traffic and income in the same business like Apple,
Yeah.
and then you are able to step back and have a bit more freedom and do other things. But yeah, amongst all my
That's
distraction, the focus has been, I think, my number one lifesaver in my career.
yeah. Yeah. And that's what I love about this um opportunity is something I don't talk about too much in my videos because I don't want to get off the topic, but I've suffered from chronic migraines for 35 plus years. And having a regular 9 to 5 that I have to, be dedicated to 5 days a week, it's just not an option for me. I mean, I, can get a migraine just like that. And it
Mhm.
could last an hour, it could last 5 days. I mean, it just, you never know. So
Jesus.
this is something that I can work around that, when I'm able to. Yeah, I mean, there's just times that I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm not doing anything at all, but my business is still running. It's still set
Mhm.
up, still going when I'm not.
Yep.
Um, so this has been the best opportunity for me. And I look forward to, you know, continuing on.
Yeah. Well, Annette, thanks for coming on, and let's do a follow-up show
Absolutely.
and keep the conversation going. Let us know how we can keep supporting you and keep staying legendary, being legendary, kicking ass, and tell your
Thank
husband
you.
said hello as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, Annette. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, my friends, you can follow her as I had the link up the majority of the show at SAH Marketing Mom. That stands for Stay at Home Marketing Mom. So SAH Marketing Mom. She's on TikTok and Instagram. Annette is out there doing her thing, and such wisdom in her words today. There's magic. Each one of you has magic. I think the interesting thing that that I've learned through talking to now, I think over 600 of you, is that on these Wake Up Legendary shows, is that each one of you has magic. Each one of you has interesting knowledge and experience that, obviously you've had from your whole life, but also the way that you're doing this, you create your own journey and your own story, and it's so lovely to listen and hear about it. It's so interesting. And my hope for each one of you today is that you realize that I have never talked to one of you and thought, man, that was disappointing, or didn't like that. I have never left a Wake Up Legendary show and been sad or depressed. I've every single time been inspired by the actions that you're taking, the things that you're overcoming, the things that you're doing in your lives. I mean, so many of you have significant challenges that you're dealing with as you're building and starting this business. And it's just so inspiring. And I just hope each one of you will remember that as you're listening to Annette or anyone else on the show, you too have and are creating a really cool story right now being here doing this. And I hope to hear it one day. Talk to you on Wake Up Legendary. And if you want to be a guest, you can actually, well, hold on. You can go to legendarymarketer.com/featured and you can fill out the application, and maybe we'll reach out and have you on, or we'll just reach out to you if we notice that you're, kicking some ass and taking some names in the community and making some moves. But man, it's just so amazing to hear almost 600 stories and have the same exact feeling after I get off every single one of these episodes. And so the liking gap is real. We think so much less of ourselves and our own story than when it actually comes out and other people hear it. And I'm here to say thank you, each one of you who have come on the show. And I look forward to talking to many more of you and getting inspired by your story and giving you a place to share it and to celebrate your wins in what you are doing here. It is really, really something to celebrate. So let's show Annette some love today. Head over to her TikTok or Instagram at SAH Marketing Mom. Show her some love. Lift her up. Yeah, just because somebody might seem as if they're succeeding, and maybe they are succeeding, let's continue to lift them up. How do we support each other in this community? Well, if we see somebody out there on the internet hustling, creating content, let's leave them a positive comment. Let's leave them a like. Let's send them some positive energy, because really the last thing we want to be is crabs in a bucket where we see somebody succeeding and we want to pull them back. Oh, no, 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 no. That's not how we roll. We see somebody, let's lift them up, man. Let's lift them up. That can be a change in thinking for some of us, to go from seeing people succeeding and feeling jealousy or envy or like, what's wrong with me, to saying, no, 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 man, this person inspires me. Let me show them some love. Let me lift them up. Right. And then what will happen is these people who you look up to, or maybe were even once jealous of, or thought, how are they succeeding? What's wrong with me? Will eventually become your peers. Just stay legendary. And as Annette said earlier in the show, just don't quit. That's the ultimate way for your business to die. Don't let your business die, even if you feel like you want to die today, right? Don't let your business, because as Annette said at the end of the show, you can build this business where even if you do feel like you need to take a day off to die, whether you got a headache or diarrhea or whatever else you got, you can actually come back and the business can still be running and supporting you and your family and your lifestyle. This can change your life, as I said earlier, but you have to commit to going through the stuff and immersing yourself here for a good 90 days to let it all sink in. All right. So keep coming back and listening to these. Go through the training with seriousness and commitment, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Get on out of here.